Ross, thank you so much for coming on. I've seen you a few times, met you a few times at Community Links. Start from the start. Where were you born?
I was born in Cramlington.
Right. Okay.
Well, North Shields, but grew up in Cramlington.
How was from the early days? What can you remember from when you were really young?
Um, to be fair, like I'm not like most people. I can't like. I know people remember like so young in their childhood, but I can't really. I think that's just something to do with me. Um, but growing up, yeah, I had my group of friends. You know, was out most of the time with everyone. I had a good childhood. I always had a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food in my belly.
Yeah.
My mum, I had my holidays. We used to go camping into Jedburgh.
Oh right, yeah.
I love that. Always loved going camping. So it was good. Yeah, I had a pretty good upbringing.
Ross, you have intrigued me since I said either of you in a few months back.
Yeah.
And I tell you what it is. I had been following you on my social media.
Yeah.
And I was recognizing myself in you in that early recovery. And it was nice to see when I was following you, doing what you were passing on this really positive vibe. You're passing on this really positive recovery story, and I've been watching you in Community Links just grow.
Yeah.
And you've just been growing and growing and growing and growing. And how many months are you now? Are you a few months in?
3 months. I collected me 3 month chip.
Oh, just last week. Well done, fucking 3 months.
I know. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't ever think I was going to do it. Because obviously it's my second time round. I only managed 34 days last time, but to be honest, my head wasn't in it. Like I was going to the meetings, I was turning up to the centre. I mean, in my head the lights were on, but nobody was home. I was like just basically I was getting me chips to take a picture and send it to my mum and say, "Oh, mum, look at what I've got. Look at how well I'm doing." When in reality, I wasn't. I wasn't in it to win it.
Start us off then. Start us off where you first started in the culture of addiction. Start us off with all this. How did you?
I mean, I suppose it started off pre-high school. I mean, my mum wasn't a drinker. I suppose she did what normal adults did. There was 5 who were growing up. Then that went on to 7. But I suppose I started my mum always did everything she could, but with me it was more I just rebelled against everything. I was always right, everyone was always wrong. And I did my own things my own way. Even though my mum, she tried to do everything. She went back to college. She got a job as a welder, which she actually won an award for.
She got a job as a welder?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she got a job as a welder, which she absolutely loved. And because of her achievements and how, basically starting her life from scratch, starting doing it, because she achieved it, she was actually in the Chronicle for it. Which was really impressive because it was all to do about coming off benefits and going back into work. Now obviously I was drinking then, and because of my mum going back to work, it was I don't really need to go to school now, do I? Because my mum's not in, so if the school ring, there's nobody there to answer the phone. But I can recall one day my mum dropped off, and I left school. I remember walking through the back door, my mum just being stood there. I wasn't expecting that to be in the house. But to me, with me drinking, I was putting my mum through a lot. In my head it was you don't love me, this, that, yeah, whatnot, because of the way I thought my mum was being towards me, when in fact, no matter how much I put my mum through, no matter how much grief I caused her, whenever I needed help, when I moved into my first flat when I was 19, I think, I'd put my mum through everything. You know, I was outright horrible, to be honest with you. I was just damn right nasty. But when I was stuck, like if I needed food because I'd blew all my money on drink, you know, I'd meet my mum at Asda, you know, and she would pick up like a little bits and pieces here and there, you know. So even though I was like proper horrible, she was still there to help us out. But to me, the only reason I was being horrible is because I thought my mum didn't like me or love me. But it was my mum showing me tough love. You know, even after everything, if I needed anything, you know, she was there for it. You know, she did do a lot, and like I've said horrible things about my mum throughout the years, being in active addiction, you know, which I deeply regret. Because she's always been there. I mean, my dad left. I don't even know how old I was when my dad was left, but like he was in and out of our lives. And to say I don't remember much of him, I don't. But he's bobbed in and out now and again. But like I'm at peace with that now. Like, you know, it's my mum that's brought us up. It's my mum that's raised us. I won't say it's my mum that's made us the way I am, because the way I am is self-made. I've done it to myself. My behaviours and the way I've went on and my decision making wasn't the way my mum brought me up. That was the choices I made and the way I chose to go on and act and behave. But it's just been one disaster after another.
So that you started going a bit. You said pre-high school.
Yeah.
In high school or around that sort of time, were you using them as well as just drink?
No, that's a funny story about the drugs. You say, growing up, high school, yeah, you know, we'd meet up everyone on a Friday night, you know, and we'd wait outside the shop and beg every person that walked by to go in. But see, growing up, I was anti-drug, totally anti-drug. When I had my own place, between high school and getting my own place, anti-drug. Like, I didn't want any association with it. I didn't want to hang around with people that did do it. When I had a drink at my flat, people that came that I knew took drugs, it's like, you do it outside, you don't do it inside my flat. Like, I was I'm dead set against drugs, totally anti-drug.
So when someone that was booze, it was your...
Alcohol was the biggest factor back then.
When did that change? Can we speak about that? We'll dive into that.
When I was 29.
Was it?
29?
29. When I first tried any drug ever.
What do you think clicked? What do you think changed?
There was just a lot going on at that point. It was back in December 2020. Getting married September 2019. And everything was fine with the marriage and that. It was the alcohol. I was drinking, but I was disappearing. You know, I was leaving my wife in bed with the kids, and I was going out the door and just going to my friends' houses and that, and just staying on it all night. And then there was just this one day, one of my friends was like, "Oh, just have a line, just you'll be fine. I'm here with you. Just have one, just try it." And I tried it. I had one or two lines, and you know, I went back home later on, and like I went to bed and went to sleep, and I thought, well, that was rubbish. Like I thought, well, what's all the fuss about? But then it wasn't until 6 months later, obviously because of my addiction and that, like other professionals would get involved with my children and that, and a lot of things happened there. But obviously I'll not go too much into that because it's still a run in progress. But yes, things had happened then, and then that's when I kind of picked it back up again. I kind of thought,
6 months later, then you picked the drugs back up. Yeah, that's 2020.
21.
21. Wow.
So I tried it in December, and then I didn't touch it again around between the May June time, because I was just like, oh, that didn't do now. But then, come the next time, I was like, oh well, maybe it'll be different. And boy, was it different! It had that hook on us.
Go on then.
Straight away, like tried it, and I was like, wow, this is nothing.
So, was it cocaine?
Cocaine.
You gave me cocaine?
Yeah, it was like that line I had was a lot bigger, but like it gave us this massive rush, and I was like, wow, I didn't get that last time.
Really?
And just off that once, like that had me that hook. I was like, I want some more of that. Like
chasing that.
Yeah, it just made us feel unbelievable.
So what happened then? What then? You went on from that. What's
It just progressively got worse and worse because at this point there was no responsibilities.
Are you still living man in Cramlington? Are you still?
No, at this point, well, yeah, I was living in Crampton, but like on the border, I was living in North Tyneside and it's Ford. I was living there, and at this point, there was no responsibilities because of my actions. So it was just full blown madness. I'm staying up 3, 4 nights at a time, not going to sleep, just continuously drinking. If I felt like I was dropping off, I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on cocaine. Like it just crazy when I sit back now and think of it. Like it was just pure insanity. Like when I look back now, I think, how am I even alive? And then got court ordered. I wasn't allowed to live at the family home anymore.
You get a court order?
Yeah, and it came with a warrant of arrest. So if I went inside the house, I'd be arrested. That wasn't down to anything other than my alcohol use and my drug use. So I got a flat in Seg Hill. I think this was 2022. It must have been. So the kids could go home to their mum. But that meant me being out for for me to do a bit more work. But of course, that I'd used now and again. I was trying my best to stop it because I knew I had an upcoming hair strand test, and I didn't know when it was coming though. And about a week before the hair strand test, I was still having more cocaine in that. And how I ever passed that hair strand test.
You passed?
I couldn't tell you. Like on my mind whilst waiting for the results, I'm like, this is going to come back with cocaine. This is going to come back with alcohol. But how, by the miracle of God, I don't know. How that came back clean, I don't know. Wow. So I got my contact back with my kids. The order had ended after a year. I moved back home. Went on a family holiday to Spain. Well, of course, I used to think, well, I'm not going to that area because that's where I used to use. Well, let's tell you about my first ever holiday abroad. So it was obviously there with my wife and kids. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law came the week after us. My mother and father-in-law were there. Started off with the shandies, but then it was the San Miguel. This is where my drinking swiftly picked right back up. And then I'm still at the bar, and these people come in, a couple of Geordies, and we're just chatting away. And they mentioned that they've got family from Shields. I was like, oh, so have I. And they went, oh, who's? I said my auntie's name. Well, it turns out their relative was married to my auntie. So it's like, oh, family. Well, I disappear with them. End up taking cocaine in a toilet in a pub in Spain, which was just pure madness. And I was stood on a chair on a balcony, nearly fell off the balcony. I pretty much ruined the whole day, which is I feel awful for now and deeply regret because, although my wife at the time and my kids and that, my mother and father-in-law weren't present to see it, they had to deal with the aftermath.
The consequences.
Yeah, they dealt with the consequences of my actions, which wasn't fair. So I kind of spoiled the holiday. And I know they held a lot of anger and resentment against me for that. But you know what it is, I don't blame them because they did a lot as well. They took on the children whilst work needed to be done, So they stepped up and did a lot also. But yeah, I totally ruined that holiday, and then got back, and then being back it lasted about 8 to 10 weeks.
But did you get sober when you got back from holiday, or were you trying to get sober?
Yeah, trying to. Lasted about 8 to 10 weeks, and then there was an incident one night. I got arrested. I didn't know. To me, at first, I felt like I'd been set up. Been drinking all day, partying all day, been up for 3 nights, loads of people around the house.
Yeah.
Kids there, which was no good. And I got removed by the police to prevent breach of peace. This was about 2:30 in the afternoon on the 2nd of June last year. So I left, came back about 5 hours later, out about 7:30, and there's like loads of police there, and I'm just wondering to myself what's going on. And I walked over, and like the police start questioning us. And May being May, I had £250 worth of coke in my pocket, and I was like in my shorts, had my shorts on and my jeans on top, and I was like, I knew I was going to get lifted, knew it. So I tried to bolt, and the cop I like swiftly grabbed us and slammed us to the ground. And he searched my pockets, and I thought, I'm done for here. But he didn't find it. So he puts it in the back of the van, and I'm sat like that, cuff, and I'm like trying to ring me way into my pocket to get this coke. And I'm sat there in the back of the van in my hand, and I'm like, I need to hide this because I know I'm going to get searched again when I go to that police station. So I thought, you know what, if I didn't find it the first time, I'll take the chance, mate, I'll find it the second time. So I put it back in the point, right in the point of the corner on my short, I guess, to the police station. And they're searching again, and I'm thinking, please don't find it. And again, they didn't find it. And the custody sergeant on the desk, me being pissed, thinking I'm a clever dick, he's like, "You got any complaints?" I went, "Yeah. You need to hire better coppers." I says, "This cunt couldn't find shit." It's like, but I don't know why I was doing that. Because like I knew if that had been found, you know, because I'd been arrested for criminal damage of the value of £5,000, and I was just like, wow. Yeah.
You're asking for this, aren't you?
I know. So like, I'm pretty much asking for a drug charge on top of my head as well. I get released the next morning. I get bailed.
And they've not found it?
No. I begged and pleaded with my mum if I could be bailed there. So my mum and our fiance came to pick us up. But first thing I did was, well, you see, actually, when I got my belongings back, what they'd actually done is took a vape out of my pocket when I'd got booked in. But the vape was an illegal THC one, so it was just pure cannabis. And when they opened that evidence bag to give us my stuff back, the smell of green was unimaginable. And how they didn't smell that either, I do not know. As soon as I got out,
you get your vape back?
Yeah, they give us it back. As soon as I got out of that cop shop, I gave the vape to some lad that was there that I met that I was talking to, and I put the bag of coke in the bin because I was going to my mum's.
Yeah. Well,
you know, my mum was disappointed at the fact that I'd ever even went on to drugs. She couldn't believe it herself. Like I remember the phone call saying, "Ross, what the hell are you playing at? You've always been on drugs." I was on bail at my mum's, and do you know what it is? Again, no matter what shit I put my mum through, I took the piss. You know, my mum working in a care home, you know, wanting the best out of her life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doing 12-hour shifts. She's going out at like 7:20 in the morning, not coming back till about 8:20 at night. And there's me, sneakily taking cocaine, sneakily drinking, hiding it from her. Sorry about this, ma'am, because she might. But I think she had an inkling, she had a feeling, because my brother's rang us up a few times about certain things.
She'll understand.
And it was just descending to madness, you know, trying to take my own life, you know, taking an overdose. My mum sitting in hospital with us again, asking them, I had an ECG and it was showing like at risk of a heart attack, and my mum was like, didn't want to leave, you know, like my mum, it was like just every time the phone rang, it's like, well, is this a phone call? Has he been found somewhere? Is he dead? Or, you know, and it was just brutal. Like, I had my jaw broken. I had the majority of my teeth removed from the way they had to go in and do the operation. So I've got a metal plate and 4 screws. And that was the point. My mum had to show tough love again and kick me out to protect my younger siblings in the house, because he didn't need to be witness to that behaviour.
How long ago was that then?
That was June last year.
And the reason I'm asking, because this is very close.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is just like around the corner stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, it was after my mum kicked us out, after everything I didn't put her through, I ended up getting my jaw broken around the 26th of June, and I went to hospital 3 days later. Cause at first I just thought like it was swelling, so I was just taking paracetamol and ibuprofen. It wasn't until I got up on the 3rd day and like there was blood in that, and I was like, no, there's something not right here. Goes to the hospital, clean break straight down there into.
Oh, really?
Never broke a bone in my life. That's the first time, and it just broke clean in two. And the nurse was like, "Ross, how have you walked around for 3 days like this?" But I just thought it was swelling. So I had my operation, got released. They had given us codeine, but wasn't too happy about it. But I needed some sort of pain relief. And again, after the events at my mum's house, again, she had us back. Just after being kicked out for, because I was found, from what I can recall, I was found on my mum's bathroom floor, mortal drunk, flat out of it, probably on coke as well, and ended up leaving the house. So even after that, my mum still had us back, and I was doing what I was doing, and then where did I end up after that? I think that's when I was like ended up in a Lane house, and that's to me it's the place where you go to die basically.
So what is that, McLean House?
So it's through a charity, but I'm not going to name a charity because it's not fair. So it's like what I'm in now. Like you have a stage 3 house where teetotal you're not allowed to use. Yeah. If you use, then you go down with stage 2 house where you can use, but you've got to engage in like other services, like go to groups and that. And if you get kicked out there, which like I did, they're saying that, no, sorry, I didn't even make it there. I went straight from stage 3 to stage 1. Okay. And the stage 1 is, it's a wet house. You're allowed to drink alcohol as long as you stay in the back garden.
Wow.
And you're allowed to take drugs as long as you do it off premises. Well, now I was just meeting my dealer, getting 4 or 5 bags of coke at a time, putting it in my pocket, walking back into the building, going into my room, locking the door. No one's none of the wiser. Yeah. And I couldn't even manage 3-4 days there clean. Couldn't manage it. Yeah. Every day.
Takes over, doesn't it? And I think you mentioned it before, when the secrecy starts to creep in when you were at your mum's head and stuff. And then as soon as you've got a place
free reign,
you go even more secret, don't you?
Yeah,
even more isolated.
Like you could talk to the staff just being off your face and nothing. The only way you get kicked out is if it's because of your behaviour. They do so much to help you. I mean, being there, I probably should have been kicked out long beforehand, but I know both the managers there, because one of the managers I grew up with our brother. We used to run away together when we were little kids. And the other manager, I started off in recovery with him through Oak Trees, but obviously he got it better than me. I think he pretty much made up rules just to try and keep me there as long as he could. But it wasn't until one night when I started a fight with the night staff, which was the stupidest idea in the world, because this guy was built like a prick shithouse. Like he would have knocked us out just by flicking his. So I ended up getting kicked out of there, and I spent one night sleeping in a tent, and this is when the crack started.
Oh really?
And that was October last year, and that's when the crack started. And I thought, oh well, this is something new, this is something different. And then that's when I tried speed. Didn't like speed, so I never touched that again. I thought, well, that's nothing that, but the crack, that did get a hold of us. So I then spent a couple of nights floating about there, and then it wasn't till I managed to get the money to stay in a hotel, and that's when I decided to ring Addictions North East. So I got into Addictions North East in the October, or maybe it's the start of November, and like I was buzzing about it. Like I was telling myself I was going to do it. You know what? And like I say again, even after everything I put my mum through, she still drove. Well, our partner did. They both got in the car and they drove us and dropped us off to Addictions North East. So even after everything,
still
there. Being verbally abusive to my mum and everything like that, still there, bail at our house twice, even operations at hospital, back at my mum's, getting kicked out my mum's again, and then me to my mum, then me getting the bus to my mum's that day, and I dropping us off in to the centre, which, you know, I mean, it's just madness, like, especially after everything I put her through. So I started doing what I need to do with the centre, going to meetings, getting me chips. Never put the effort in to get a sponsor. Didn't even start my step work. Never even started that. And then after 34 days, I had relapsed on alcohol and ketamine. And this is when ketamine started. So got kicked out on the Monday on the start of my 5th week, when I realistically I should have been moving up that week. And the first thing I did was go straight to Wetherspoons and start drinking. And then that's when the ketamine got involved. Now that, you couldn't pay me to touch that again.
I've never took it. You ever took it?
It's like,
a little bit years ago, but not like.
I don't know.
It makes you feel like you're drunk, but times it by a million.
Was it? Yeah.
You can barely walk. You can't even sit. Like, I remember being sat in cafes in Sunderland just like that, like trying to balance myself out, but you can't. And how I managed to walk from the town centre to the train station and then get the train to Hartlepool, I'll never know. Like, it's like, but even then,
a weird one.
It's never have interested me. Never.
Well,
it would have interested me if it was.
It's just one of them weird drugs. And then eventually I stopped that, and there was one night I'd end up getting a train back to Newcastle after being out the centre for a month, thinking, oh well, I'll go back to Newcastle. Going from hotels to hotels, you know. And in Newcastle, it was literally just crack the whole time. No cocaine or ketamine, literally just crack. Meeting people at Central Station, getting it and that, and smoking it and that, and just drinking and that. And then there was one night I was out. Now I ain't got much recollection of this night, because this only just happened back in January. I was out in the town centre, and I had like a gold bracelet which I'd bought. Now, one thing I remember is being out with people I'd met, you know, when you're drunk and off your face you do. And the next thing I remember is being pulled up off the ground by the police. And then the next thing I remember, I was waking up in the RVI with 24 stitches in my head. Turns out, not only did I get robbed, but two people were fighting, and I was trying to play the good Samaritan, as I got told by the police, and that quickly backfired on me, and they ended up stamping on my head and that. But luckily there was a friend there who stopped me from doing more damage. I had a hole in my head about the size of a 50p piece. So I now like have a scar like Harry Potter. But yeah, 24 stitches in my head, and that, even then, that wasn't the wake up call. I was like, nah, it'll be fine, I can still go on. You know, a few more weeks of drinking.
What was the wake up call?
Sitting in a hotel room at 4 o'clock in the morning, drinking vodka, smoking crack, and thinking, you know, I've got kids, I'm a son, I'm a father, you know, I'm a brother, you know, and it's just sitting there, and it's just like that life-defining moment of like, is this really going to be my life? Is this how my, like, is this my end goal? Like, I'm not going to take this addiction's going to take me. And so I took the courage to ring up the centre on the Wednesday, and on the second week in February, and obviously I spoke to the lady that does the intake. She's like, can you come in tomorrow? I was like, oh, I can't, I'm busy, I've got something on. I didn't have anything on at all, so they'll find out that now. But I didn't have anything on at all. I was putting it off because I was still tiring myself. I want to do it. Time passed, and I said, I'll come in on Friday. Friday came and went. Didn't go in. Still getting on it on the Saturday and the Sunday. And I got to the Monday, and I rang up and I was like, oh hi, I'm ready to come in now. I said, oh, can you come in on Wednesday. I was like, yeah, I'm coming on Wednesday. So we got the central station in Newcastle on the Wednesday. And whilst I was stood on the platform, you know, I stood there and I was like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to go back?
Second guessing.
Yeah, do I want to go back? And then I just kept trying to overpower that thought of, well, yeah, you need to. And I got on the train. And then even on the train,
still fighting it.
I was like, am I doing the right thing here? Do I actually want to go back? Like, why am I doing this? I can't be going back and saying I'm doing it for my kids or anything like that, because that's what I did last time. I wasn't doing it because I wanted to. I was doing it because I was told to do it, and it didn't work. So I got off the train, got a taxi to the centre, and I like, and you know what it is? I like put a bag of nerves walking back into that room, like the whole lot, people are going to judges, things like that. And then you know what it is? I thought myself, fuck it, I'm not the first, and I won't be the last.
Well done, man.
To walk out that door and walk back in that door.
Well done, man.
And I don't know what it was, like, it was just something different that day. I wanted to put the effort in. I started obviously attending community links on a Friday. Never bothered with that last time round. I just prejudged it before I even went. I thought, no, that's not for me. But you know, it's going to that community links on a Friday night. It's an absolute godsend.
Game changer, isn't it?
It's a proper game changer.
I was just thinking about Steve and Craig. Amazing. Yeah, both of them.
Well, yeah. Steve and Craig, like they make that centre. You know what it is? And obviously you, Charlie, you do the meetings as well there, and you, Dan, you come along with your guitar and that as well with Rocky. You know, it's a nice little community. You know, awesome, people go there who are in centres or in treatment or in recovery, and all meet up. And then there's people that coming off the streets. I know one person that came in being brought in, like not off the streets but from his house.
Why do you think that you got on with those two lads so much, as in Craig and Stephen? What have they got that you got on so well with?
The more, like, you can see it in them, like they live and breathe recovery. Like Craig, that man's out from 7 o'clock in the morning, even though he doesn't start work till 10. And if it wasn't for them, like, you know, like Hartlepool and that, we wouldn't have anything. And Friday nights have always been a big trigger for me. So being able to go there on a Friday, like, it's an absolute godsend. Like, Craig, fair to say, didn't have the time or space for me, the time of day for me last year, because he knew. Craig can say it, you know, but this time around, like, Craig will do anything. Like, I had a moment of weakness where I was upset, a lot going on in my head and that, struggling a bit, and he came round and he done like just a little something similar to this, just asking me questions, like, but in that moment of how I was feeling and with the struggle and that. And he says, whenever you get stuck, always go back to that, or do, like, you know, add your own bits to it and that. Like, he's got the time and day for anyone and everyone.
You can see,
you know what it is? He's down to earth.
Do you know what I think? I can see it in their eyes. It's just in their eyes. And when you speak to them,
every single time you see him,
you just know that they two lads have got your back. That's it.
Do you know what it is? They'll give anyone the time of day. Do you know what like, he's just so down to earth. Just because he's got X amount of years behind him, he doesn't think he's better than anyone else. Like, I mean, I love getting on the minibus with him in the morning, because bless his class, all he tries to bully us, but I just tell him to focus on that road and still learn how to drive. Like,
so,
Dan,
I was going to say,
Dan,
where are you at today?
I think I'm 97 days today, and I'm in the best place I've ever been in a long time. Like, I go to bed not worrying about where I'm going to get my next drink from, where I get my next drink from. Like, I've done my 12 steps. I'm wanting to make amends with people who I've harmed in the past. You know, I'm wanting to right all the wrongs I've done. And now I know that's not going to be such an easy step because some people might not be ready to forgive yet. I mean, my mum especially, you know, my wife, my children, me, you know, her mum and dad, like all the harm I've brought to them, I've done to them, I've caused all the hurt and pain to my own family as well. You know, I don't expect. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm going to be realistic. I don't expect half of them to ever forgive us. And you know what it is? I wouldn't blame them. I probably wouldn't forgive me either.
I think, you know, as it says in the step 8, us when you need to be man's willing, mate. As long as you are willing, and your actions are speaking loud and clear to everyone.
That's what it's about, isn't it? Keeping your side of the street clean.
Yeah. Dan, ask the question, man.
Ask the question.
Fire the question, Dan. Right at him. Fire away, Dan.
So if you were to speak to, I tell you what, when that, you said the drink took over high school, so that's when it started. If you were to have a conversation with that kid, technically still, teenager, what would you say to him?
Tell him it's not worth it. There's more to life than what's at the bottom of the bottle. Like, if I could go back in time and give him a tea and just, like, don't ruin your life. You've got a lot in store for you. You've got potential. Don't throw it all away.
What would you tell him after all the madness? What would you tell him that it's like now? Would you say it's going to be all right?
Be honest and say don't expect every day to be easy, because it won't be. You'll still have your up and downs. You'll still have your past and thoughts. But it's how you choose to act on them. And with me, I choose to reach out, open up, always work your program. Like, to me now, life's beautiful. Like, I notice things now I never noticed before, because you were blinded by that addiction. Like, if I could go back then, I would say that. But in another sense, it's made us the person I am today. It's made us appreciate life a lot more. It's made us appreciate the people around us, my surroundings. You know, it's me back then, although I was such a horrible person, it's made me the person I am today. And all I can do going forward to keep my mind at peace is still work my program, but keep working on them amends. So what was it worth it? No, it really wasn't. Like, being in that addiction was the addiction worth it? No, like, there's a million things I would change, you know. Like, you know what it is? Like, I'll go knock my younger self out and be like, I would.
First time I've heard that.
I say, don't be a fucking idiot. What you're playing at, like, but people tried that all throughout.
Yeah.
You know,
we don't listen to it.
No, you don't.
We don't listen. Ross, I just want to thank you for being the example that you've become, mate. I have watched you from afar, mate. Thanks for being the example in community links. I know there's people that look up to you and people look at your recovery, man, as something that they want. And thanks for what you do in addictions in the North East as well. And thank you very much for this interview, mate.
I appreciate it, you know.
I feel as if I've definitely got to know you more and more, mate.
Oh, mate, yeah, I just want to say thank you as well. It's been fucking class. Yeah. Absolutely class and admirable.
Do you know what I was just thinking before? Do we go? Now, whether the subtitles and we pick up that my Newcastle accent, I just don't know.
Cheers, probably.